I'm going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Okay.
Let's start with the biggest comeback in one quarter in NFL history.
Right.
It wasn't the biggest playoff comeback ever.
Right.
But if you just want to limit it to one 15-minute quarter, no NFL team has ever done that before, been down 24-0, and then within a quarter come back and take the lead. As you're watching on YouTube, you can see the biggest playoff comebacks of all time. Andy Reid has been part of a couple of these, too. The one
he has.
And then the one with the Colts coming back on the Chiefs back in 2013. This one, it was weird because you're sitting there and you're watching this game, and the previous game that we had watched was Baltimore fall behind early. It looked like same thing was happening again. It looked like the exact same thing. It wasn't done the same way, but it felt the same way. It was like, wow, it's going to happen again in the AFC. Houston came out, and they're not a good first quarter team this year.
Yeah.
They've been one of the worst first quarter teams, which is the weird thing about this game. I just, before we get into kind of the comeback, just how shocked were you on how that game began?
Like, literally texting friends like, oh, man, I mean, I don't want to see Houston-Tennessee AFC championship game. I can't believe this. And, yeah, I was, texting with Florio and Matt Casey, the producer, just talking about things during the game. But I was sitting there going, man, it's 24-0. They're in trouble and I'm concerned. But I was also sitting there going, like, they're not out of this. They weren't being, like, surgically destroyed in the pass game or, like, bludgeoned in the run game, right? I mean, it was self-inflicted wounds. So when you do that and then you see that, there was chance for success and there was a drop pass or another drop pass or, it's third down and we blow a coverage. I mean, hey, I don't care. I don't care if they were playing the Houston Texans or the Cincinnati Bengals. When you blow a coverage and then drop a punt, and then what is my other one? How did they get that other one? Hold on. Blow a coverage, drop a punt, and there's something else they did, and I'm blanking out on
errors?
it. No, hold on.
All those drop passes, block punt.
No, block punt. Oh, and then, block punt. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't care who you are. You blow a coverage. Let me redo that. Get a punt blocked for a touchdown, and then drop a punt.
Yeah.
If you're playing the Bengals, you're going to be down 21-0, let alone the Houston Texans. So they that game up from the start. They put themselves in a hole. Really, the Texans' offense only had somewhat of a one drive for that field goal. Other than that, it wasn't like I was sitting there going, oh, man, this doesn't look good. The Chiefs look outmatched. I just was going, they're shitting down their leg is what I was saying.
Yeah.
And can they just kind of like find something to jump off of? And luckily they did.
The good thing about falling down by a lot early is that you did it early and you have a whole lot of time to come back.
Right.
Let's look at a couple decisions here because I think people are latching on to Bill O'Brien and what he did, which I hope that doesn't overshadow what Patrick Mahomes, and he's gotten a lot of credit.
Yeah,
and the Chiefs deserve a lot of credit. It wasn't like these decisions by Bill O'Brien made a fait accompli.
No, they were allowed to play the rest of the game too. There was no rule that said like, oh, that decision ended up not being right. You got to quit now.
Let's do a little thing called, I like to call it Mulligan Monday.
Oh, Mulligan
Monday. Would you take a mulligan?
Yeah.
Would you redo it? So you think Bill O'Brien, if he had his druthers, would go back. A lot of people talking about that field goal.
To go up 24-0 on the fourth.
It was 21-0. Yep. It was second quarter. It was about 5 minutes into the second quarter. It was 4th and 1 on the Kansas City 13.
Right.
And there was a little confusion. I think Bill O'Brien said they thought it was a first down, so that's why the offense was still on the field. They had to call timeout.
Yep.
Kick the field goal, 24-0. Turns out they needed a lot more than 24 points. I don't think that decision at the time is a bad call.
I don't either. First off, like, how much time was left in the game at that? 8:32. All right? So, or no, 10:58, even more.
Yeah.
I mean, so, all right. To me, that was the right play there. And listen, I'm not sitting here like, you'll see, I second-guess some guys this weekend. There's other decisions I don't. I'm going to second-guess Billy O'Brien again here in a second. I'll just tell you that. But this one, you're up 21-0. Okay, you've driven down the field. Go up 24-0. Now, most people go, oh, you left it a 3-score game. First of all, again, it's 10 minutes and 58 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So let's start counting the scoreboard for what it might look like 3 hours down the road. Like, nobody's the Wizard of Oz over here, all right? So You go up by 24-0 on the road. You bring something positive away from that drive. Those would be my first thoughts. My second thoughts are to be up 24-0, and you say, oh, it's a 3-score game. Yeah, it's a 3-score game if the offense can score 6 touchdowns, which is 3 real touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. The chances of that happening are not great, okay? So I like that. The second thing I would say to you, had we seen any semblance of a drive by the Kansas City Chiefs offense at that point? No, we hadn't. Yes, they dropped some passes, but they had done nothing to that point. So Billy O'Brien's going, well, I mean, gosh, okay. Maybe we get the stop, and we go down and kick another field goal. We're up 27-0. Okay, it didn't work out that way. 24-0, they settle for the field goal. Yes, they return the kick for a long game. Guess what, though? It's 24-17. Still a 3-score game. So it wasn't like that big of a deal.
24-7,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, 24-7. Exactly right. It's still a 3-score game. And then, so I like the decision. Rather than going for it, up 21-0, and then if you don't get it, and then Kansas City goes and drives down the field and it's 21-7, that would have been even totally different either way. And you can't predict the future and go, oh, McCole Hardman's going to have a great kick return here and all of that. So I had no problem with that decision right there with 10 minutes and 58 seconds left in the second quarter.
What do you think about all this conversation that's going on around Bill O'Brien?
Come on.
Right
Are you
now?
guys people, are you kidding me in Houston?
You say I know you've talked highly of Bill O'Brien before, but you're not totally sold that he is the next coming of this great coach and GM, which he's serving as right now.
Well, no, okay. I mean, he just took over the GM thing like last offseason, and he didn't want to, right? He didn't want to Nick Caserio, and they messed that up. I don't know if Caserio or Jack Easterby or whoever.
He wanted more power. He definitely
wanted more power. There's definitely been some civil war in that building. Hey, every head coach wants a GM that sees things the way they see them. Obviously, he was not like, oh, gosh, I don't want a GM, because he was trying to hire Nick Caserio. He wants a GM. He just wants a GM probably that, oh my gosh, how dare he to do things the way he thinks they should be done or shares a certain vision with him.
I get that.
He came from New England. That's what they do. That's why they've dominated 2 decades, okay? So I don't like that. Plus, again, if I was going to, my only thing with Billy O'Brien is, his offense lacks big-time creativity. It's still a good offense. He's still a really good head coach. His teams are still really tough. Situationally, he's usually really good. So, and tell me who's out there that you're going to replace Billy O'Brien with. That's it's crazy talk. And it's the second year with Deshaun Watson, all right? I know this is Deshaun Watson's year 3. His rookie year tore his ACL, so it's second full season with Deshaun Watson, second playoffs. Won a game this year with Deshaun Watson. Last year, they went out in the wild card game. He went to the playoffs a whole bunch of other times with quarterbacks that aren't even third-string quarterbacks. So that to me is just insaneville. Billy O'Brien is one of the better head coaches in all of football. Is he Bill Belichick? Is he Sean Payton? No, he's not. But nobody else is either at this point.
What I think is frustrating about him is there are times where he's painfully conservative.
Sure.
And
he's old school that way.
Which is funny that he's getting ripped for the fake punt, probably the most daring thing he's ever done, which he'll never do again now.
Right.
He's done.
Well, now let's dive into that one. Now you want to go Mulligan Monday? I bet you he wants a mulligan there.
Okay.
Now again, it's 24-7. The big kick return gave them the short field.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 24-7, but Kansas City's probably still going, God, I don't know. We haven't had to drive down the whole field. Okay, we got to score. That's great. It's 4th and 4, a fake punt. At your own, what were they? 31-yard line?
31.
To me, that was like the moment where it was like, the sleep. They brought out the sleeping giant wasn't awoke yet. He might have been like tussling in the bed, but this is like he brought out the smelling salt. It was like, okay, wake up, you wake up, and they woke up. And now you give them the short field a second time. They score again, and now it's a 10-point game. The stadium's going ruckus, and now you go, oh, no, now they're legitimately back in the football game.
Yeah.
So it's that fake punt, and I'll go back to what I said before. We still hadn't seen Kansas City go the length of the field and score yet. To me, you punt the ball away there. You save that fake punt for maybe later on when it needs to come in handy where you go, okay, no, Kansas City definitely has the momentum right now, and we need to retake it. And right there, I don't think Kansas City had the momentum. Was it teetering? Yes. But I don't think you were like, oh, no, here comes Kansas City. I wasn't ready to say that yet. But after the fake punt, the miss, and then them scoring a few plays later, then I was like, uh-oh, watch out. Things are going to change. And then the fumbled kick return happen, and then it became a real game.
Maybe not the best call, but I respect it. Though.
I hear you. It's ballsy.
I like that, which I like.
He's from
for
Bill
a guy
Belichick.
Who's painfully conservative, who
Yes.
I think has punted many times when he should have probably gone for it.
Right.
The one time he doesn't punt, it comes back to hit him. And I do think that it looked like Justin Reed, who got the snap, had room to run.
Sorensen played discipline.
Which we got to give a lot of credit to
Exactly
Daniel
right.
Sorensen because
Right.
he made that great tackle. And if you watch it pre-snap too with Sorensen, he was tracking Reed because Reed was kind of working his way over to the right a little bit, just nonchalantly. And Sorensen's tracking him and going with him, so he was locked on it the whole time. And Sorensen is also the guy that punched the ball out. And Darwin Thompson returned on the kickoff.
The following kick return.
Yeah,
right.
Daniel Sorensen, special teams ace over here.
Which Darwin Thompson, can somebody tell him that when there's a fumble on a kick return, you can return it for a touchdown?
Why did he do that?
I think he thought it was like a dropped onside or a punt where you can't advance a punt. A muff punt, right? Yeah. I mean, it's either that. I don't know what was going through his head, but that almost cost them because, of course, then they score on third down because of Mahomes' magic a few plays later. But then it got to 24-21, and then you felt like, uh-oh. Like, to me, that was when I was like, all right, there's no doubt Kansas City's going to win the game now. Because even as I was sitting there watching and they were down, I was going, man, Kansas City still looks like the better team to me. As we started this conversation out, they were just messing things up. And then it became Mahomes mania, and the offense just started clicking. And once you get them on a roll like that, forget it. It's over.
So let's get into that and what you kind of noticed when they started getting in a roll, because those first 3 touchdowns, Pete, saying that they had, 81 total yards for those 3 touchdowns to get right back in it. And so then the Houston Texans are up 3 only, and that 3-point lead insurmountable for Texans. They were not going to be able to come back from being ahead by 3 points.
Seriously.
Game was over at that point. But they really, the Chiefs did turn it on. And it wasn't like Mahomes all of a sudden started playing well, because I think he was playing okay up to that point.
Yeah, right. They had some drops. Kelsey, Demarcus Robinson. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And Kelsey took over as well. And Romo made a point in the broadcast, too, saying that is the one guy that Houston did not have anyone that could match up with Kelsey, which I'm kind of curious why that's the case, because he's a tough matchup, but why them specifically?
Well, yeah. I think he was just trying to say they don't have that great cover safety or linebacker that maybe can cover him. Listen, there was a number of plays they did really good job on Kelsey. And I just put a few things on, or one on social media. I think we got another one coming up here where he's covered. They've called the right defense. Everything's good. But the pass protection's good, and his ability to go, oh, wait, I've run this route, but they've covered me, and I'm going to uncover this area. And Mahomes' ability, because of the pass protection, to also stay with him in those moments, then to make throws down the field to him, that was amazing, too. Listen, Ahmed, there's a few plays where, the guy defending Kelsey's running the route for him, but he kind of uncovers, and Mahomes hits him. And it's like, man, there's nothing more Romeo Crennel can do there. The Texans don't have a great pass rush, so that's been an issue for them. Then there's another play where they double him. He's doubled. They got him doubled running a crossing route, and he sees it, and he kind of slows up in the middle of the field and then hits it again and splits them, and Mahomes throws a rifle out the backside of one of the guys doubling him. So, there's sometimes that's what's frustrating about Kansas City. You can watch a lot of plays on this game and go, it's the right defense. They got him. But there's just nothing you can do to stop the talent on the field at times. And that's the biggest issue. The biggest thing to me, too, Ahmed, is Kansas City got aggressive. Kansas City, they got to, when teams play them like the Texans do, the Texans played man-to-man almost the whole game. They tried to switch it up to zone a few times, and Mahomes carved them up, and I think they just said, whoa, that. We can't get a pass rush, and if we play zone coverage, he'll just buy time and pick us apart. So they said, okay, screw back to man, and they did that. But 2 things happened. Kansas City got aggressive with their pass play calling. Listen, you can't let some guy, right, play Tyreek, you're Tyreek Hill and I'm the DB. You can't let him play right here, man-to-man, and not scare him to go deep every now and then. Right. 1, you got to back them the hell off just to open up other things on your offense. 2, what's the point of having Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins and Patrick Mahomes if you can't throw the ball deep? What's the point? What'd you draft them for? To throw slant routes? Right? So you got to do that because why? You're good at it. And the other part of that is what happened when they started to do that? They started to get pass interference calls. So who cares if you complete it or don't? Because Bradley Roby, when you have good pass protection and you're playing man-to-man, you're covering Tyreek Hill. When Tyreek Hill goes down the field for 30 yards and then goes, whoa, I'm going to now run this way, he's going to get held because nobody can run with Tyreek Hill like that. Nobody on the planet. So that's why they have to continue to stay aggressive that way. And then the other thing that happened, too, is Mahomes realized, wait, they're not really staying in their pass rush lanes, and they're playing man-to-man when I drop back. I'm going to run. And that's when it became deadly, because now the Texans are going, oh, we're worried about all these pass concepts and this talent, and our back's turned, and now we got people all over the place rushing Patrick Mahomes, and he made a few runs, and that's where he just becomes unstoppable, and that's exactly what happened.
I mean, he made him look silly, because that game is a 51-7 game. After they fell down 24.
Isn't that amazing?
51-7.
Yeah.
That's probably the score that they should have had if they wouldn't have had those early mistakes.
Andy Reid had a few tendency breakers, just to add to that, too.
Sure. What do you mean?
You know, where, like, you've heard me talk about some of the bread and butter plays that the Kansas City Chiefs run, like
all the verticals.
Verticals, and then, Travis Kelce's running a deep cross underneath all the verticals.
Right.
Well, they would do the same thing, but like Travis Kelce would look like he's running the deep cross and then put on the brakes and break out the other way. So there's the guy going, oh, I've seen this play. Coach told me about this play all week. He stopped. And then he's wide open, breaking out the other way. So they did a few things like that, too, to keep you off of, like, their bread and butter plays that now make the defense and Romeo Crennel and the guys guarding going, oh, wait, they got some curveballs and some changeups today. I better watch out. I can't overplay some of these routes. And I thought that was really well done by Andy Reid in the offense and Eric Bieniemy as well.
Can we expose some people who thought the game was over when it was 24-0?
Oh, let's do that.
There were some tweets out there of some people. But first, before we take a look at those tweets, there was this fan that was there. Big Buck Chuck.
I haven't seen this yet, but I've heard.
Big Buck Chuck. And so he was there in the first quarter.
Right.
And he left. Here's what he said.
All right, I'm out of here. I'm out of here so we get the second half comeback going. Hopefully. Can't do it. Gotta leave, man. It's the only hope.
There was one fan who's now going viral. He left when you guys were down 24-0 because he said it was in the best interest of the team. What would you say to that fan?
Watch next game at home.
That's pretty good. Big Buck Chuck. Hey, listen.
And he wasn't leaving because he probably was frustrated, but he thought it would turn the tide.
That was selfless.
It was
That
selfless.
is taking your ego out of the equation.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe actually, it probably actually shows he's got a big ego because he thinks it's all about him. I don't know which one it shows.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, it's funny. I mean, guys are like that. I was like that. I used to watch my dad. And when things didn't go good and he was in a road game, I would go to a new room in the house. Like, I really would. I always would. His last game ever was against the San Francisco 49ers. Ricky Waters had 5 touchdowns. I would hit every room in the house that day. They lost like 42-something to Steve Young and company in 1993. I was like, well, okay, 14-0. I got to change the room. And then there was 21-0. I was like, oh, shit, this room's not good either. And then it was like 42-0.
We need a new house.
I need a new house. Get us out of here, Dad. So that's the way fans are. Yeah, and in football especially, you become, what is that, superstitious.
100%, any sport, really, but
Yep.
football too. And so Big Buck Chuck wanted to turn the tide, but there were several fans who thought it was over, and they were tweeting out that it was over. So if you're watching here on YouTube, we're showing a few of them. Here is Willie Colon, bye-bye Kansas City. That was done, boom, blew him up. That was at 3:20, something like that. John, the AFC South, the premier division in professional football. More and more people are talking about it. A lot of people were saying that.
Is that
about,
a Donald Trump quote there? Like, more and more people, like, I don't even get that.
And
Whoa.
There's the Jordan face on Patrick Mahomes with the Mahomes.
Crying me, Nikki Chavanel, you were wrong about that one.
I mean, we single these people out, but really we were all, maybe not you because you're the president of the Mahomes fan group.
I wasn't panicked because of what I said. There's a difference between being down 24-0 when it's self-inflicted mistakes. I was panicked, don't get me wrong. I shouldn't say that. But I knew there was still a chance. There's, like I said, it's a difference between doing 24-0 and you've messed up than 24-0 and we haven't had any mess ups and they're just like 10 yards, 12 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards, 3 and out, 10 yards, 12 yards. And then that's the difference. If it was like that, I would have gone, oh shit, they're done. It's over. But it wasn't like that. And we all know how quickly they can score. And it was just about getting that play. And I've never seen a game. I just say this, dude. never seen a game that had more special teams plays that dictated the flow and energy of a football game. It was unreal that way. But Kansas City, it just, they're tough. Their coach doesn't panic. Mahomes is unreal. And they got playmakers, Ahmed. That's why you draft playmakers. And they have a credible eye for it because, things aren't going good. Somebody will make a play to jumpstart us. And we've seen for the last 2 years that somebody usually does. They get it going. And whether the play is there to be had or not, their actual talent gets them over the hump when some things aren't there to be had. And that got them going, the McCole Hardman return. And they really were never the same after that.
And you know how you do your thing with the quarterback rankings every year?
Yeah.
Where you do the top 40. And it doesn't have anything to do with their past accolades.
Right.
It's like if I had a team this year and wanted a quarterback, here's who I'd pick, top 5. And I did this last year with head coaches.
Yeah.
And I put Andy Reid number 1.
Right.
Because I felt like if I have a random team with random talent, it's not necessarily Tom Brady. I don't know who I have.
Okay, gotcha.
I got a random team.
Yeah.
Who's the number 1 coach I'd want coaching that team? A lot of people say Bill Belichick. Maybe they're right.
Yeah.
I said Andy Reid because we've seen him do it with multiple quarterbacks.
Yes.
Multiple ways.
Yes.
Alex Smith, Donovan McNabb.
Listen, I don't think you're crazy
Patrick
for that.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's just that he seems to be able to get the best out of his talent. Doesn't have the postseason success like a Belichick, obviously, but he gets it done multiple ways and did it again.
Yeah, he does it through game planning, his attitude. His attitude rubs off on his players. It encourages let's not be scared in the big moment. Let's go for it, And that's the way. Sometimes he's so much like that he messes up in big moments because you just go, no, just run the ball, please. And he's like throwing a 50-yard bomb down the field still. But he's aggressive, and it lends to his players playing free and never feeling that pressure. And, that's a big credit to him that they hung in there. And, I felt bad for the Texans, but the Texans clearly were not the better football team on the field that day. I don't know what else to say. And as you can see, the Kansas City Chiefs are a different team.
Yeah.
Their offense is good. We know that. They can pass protect. Their D-line. It wasn't like the first time around. Carlos Hyde wasn't like moving the pile at 6 and 7 yards a chunk. This D-line in Kansas City, even without Chris Jones, has depth and size. And that's the amazing thing about the win yesterday. We could sit here and argue that Chris Jones is the second best player in the Kansas City Chiefs. For them to do what they did against that team without definitely their best defensive player was amazing. Frank Clark, got to give him a shout out. He played the best game of his Kansas City Chiefs career. And the other thing they did, Ahmed, that was impressive to me on the defensive side of the ball, I've talked about Spagnuolo. He changes up coverages, does all these different things. I always love that about him. They doubled Hopkins in a few plays that were big and things like that. But they were really good in their pass rush. Now, I know Watson made a few runs, but it was a lot of work to make those runs. It was different than the Patrick Mahomes runs where he just looked downfield at the first guy and was like, oh, nothing's there. Whoa, the Red Sea parted, let me run. Deshaun Watson was like, whoa, nobody's open downfield. Whoa, I'm going to dance for 7 minutes and run in a circle like a chicken with his head cut off. And then maybe he got around the corner for 6 yards. Because they did what we've talked about on Sunday Night Football a lot. They never let their defensive ends go past Mahomes, really, for the good part of the day. Watson, excuse me. Yeah, they tried to corral him and keep him in the pocket and didn't open up lanes. And that was a big part of the game as well because they saw Buffalo get burned with that crap last week.
Because you think about it, the Texans scored 31 for the game, but it was 24-0 just like that. So without the defense stepping up. And you look up at the scoreboard and you go, oh, God, it's 24. It's demoralizing, but they really turned it around just like the offense did. 51-31. Chiefs get the win. Anything more you'd like to say about that?
I think we hit it all. That was a good one, though.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.